Hi, I'm Tracy Fance. Now, I get asked this question huge amounts, so I thought it would just be easier to quickly do a video. Most people want to know if they're psychic, and if they're anything like when I was a child and I wanted to be psychic, I really expected it to be something that I would just know, like every time you shook someone's hand you knew everything about them, or you'd know the lottery numbers. Not that we had the lottery when I was a kid, but you know what I mean. And I have to say, I don't walk around having visions like Cassandra from Troy. So it just doesn't work like that. Sometimes it's just a knowing, like you know, if someone says to you, oh, so-and-so is getting engaged, you're like, yeah, I knew that, but how did I know that? It just doesn't come as a surprise to you. But if I'd have said to you, tell me something that nobody else knows, you probably wouldn't have been able to put that into words. Also, it can just be that you know who's phoning and the phone goes, and without even looking at the calling ID, you'll go, oh, that's my mother, or that's Mary, or whoever it is. And then when you pick up the phone, it's them. And so that's actually fairly normal stuff. A lot of stuff actually that happens, people just assume is normal. So if you're a mother and you just really believe that something's happening with one of your children, you'll just put that down to the mother-child link. But that isn't necessarily the case. It is that psychic energy. Also, when you're talking to your children, they go, no, I'm fine, it's okay. And you're like, I don't think so. Again, you assume it's the mother bond, but it isn't. It's that psychic energy. It's that knowledge, okay? And some people dream, and they dream stuff that's going to happen. So, for instance, the Twin Towers, a lot of people dreamt about that one. Now, scientists will tell you that that's because, like animals know that a volcano is going to explode or an earthquake's coming, they kind of leave the area. It's like there's something in the air. And I believe with something like the Twin Towers, that just put out so much energy before it happened. So that kind of stuff, you know, gets a lot more attention. But then you'll get the person that dreams that someone's going to die, or they dream about an event that later on is in the news, or they dream of a kidnapping, and just everyday stuff that doesn't necessarily make the headlines in terms of people having dreamt about it or drawn it. And so that's called precognition, and precognition is actually really, really common. And normally what I find with that is that if spirit want you working, they will give you those really scary dreams to make you go and ask people like me some questions. So the bottom line is, we are all psychic. We are born being intuitive creatures. That sixth sense would tell us to run because the saber-toothed tiger was going to come and eat us. We don't have a saber-toothed tiger anymore, but we do have similar things. We just don't tend to listen to our intuition so much because we're way too busy on Facebook and working and families and everything else. Plus, we're brought up to be really super logical. And logic has its place, but there's also a lot of time when it is really about what feels right. So my answer is, if you want to be psychic, you can be. Unless you're seeing dead people every day, you just need to be in a development circle. And to be honest, even if you are seeing dead people every day, you still need a development circle, because that's like having a powerful car and not having a clue how to drive it. And that's really dangerous. So Google development circle in your area or psychic development circle. Also go on the Spirit Guides website, and if you put in your postcode, it'll give you a map and show you what's in your local area. If you're local to me, give me a shout because I can point you in the right direction for most parts of Kent. But circles do take commitment. There's no way to just take a pill and suddenly be Michelle Nye or Gordon Smith or anyone else famous that you can think of. It does take work. And even people like Gordon Smith sat in development circles and did workshops and worked really hard to get where he is today. And the same with me. I didn't just fetch up one day and decided I was going to do this. I worked really hard. I sat in circle for many, many years. But like everything, you've got to want to do it. So like some people just are driven to be doctors and nurses and teachers, you've got to be driven to want to work in the psychic field in some shape or form. You don't have to do readings like I do. You can do healing, counselling, life coaching, there's just 1,000,001 ways to use that intuition once you've brought it out. And even if you only want it to live a better life, you'll get so much from it. So definitely find a psychic development circle. If you are drawn to do readings, that's fine. Anyone can do it, but as I say, you've got to want to do it and you've got to be committed. So I hope that helps answer the question of, are you psychic? And if you don't walk around getting visions every time you meet somebody, and you don't know all of their personal information every time you talk to somebody, that's fine, because that's generally not how it works for most people. So good luck on your journey, and you know where to find me if you want more help.